Energy poverty, a line of research in the program of the Chair of Energy Sustainability, is an endemic global problem that has grown in recent years. In 2022, in Europe, more than 9% of the population reported being unable to keep their homes adequately warm. To delve deeper into the causes and consequences of the problem, this IEB report presents 3 contributions, and this video analyzes this chronic and structural problem and identifies the profiles of those experiencing energy poverty in Spain. Andre Burilson and Monica Giulietti explore the link between energy poverty and financial distress at 2 key moments: the COVID-19 pandemic and the current energy crisis. And David McCoy focus on the implications of prepaid electricity meters and their potential benefits to vulnerable households.
The identification of energy poverty drivers is still a debate topic, with contradictory and heterogeneous results. Many studies provide a static snapshot for a given period, and thus fails to provide the type of comprehensive picture of the problem that is required to design sustainable policies to mitigate its persistence. In our study, we present empirical evidence showing that energy poverty in Spain remains a chronic problem with a tendency to worsen in times of economic crisis, and more particularly during the recent economic recession. These findings can be useful for policymakers as they shed light on how the main drivers of energy policy have evolved in different recent economic periods, and this is an issue of interest for the design and implementation of appropriate policy measures.
Following the pandemic and the war in Ukraine, energy consumers have seen high and volatile prices. The policy measures introduced to support consumers have been universal rather than targeted to vulnerable consumers. Policy measures that address energy poverty focus on the general health of consumers, but do not consider the effect of financial distress on mental health. For the future, we would recommend that policymakers also consider the effect of financial distress on vulnerable consumers. And finally, the pursuit of net zero objectives should also consider the potential effects on vulnerable consumers.
My name is Darren McCoy. I'm a principal economist at Ofgem, the UK energy regulator. I'm also a visiting fellow at the Grantham Research Institute at LSE. The article is about prepaid meters, vulnerability and debt, with a particular focus on some recent developments in the UK. Prepaid meters are a technology that allow customers to pay for their energy before they use it. They're used as an alternative to credit billing, often in cases when households are struggling with their bills and accumulating debt. They're widely used internationally. They offer benefits to the energy utility through easier management of credit and collections, potentially reducing the risk of bad debt. They offer benefits to the household in terms of debt management and budgeting. But there are also adverse outcomes for people, such as causing temporary disconnections when people can't afford to top up their meters. This is a particular issue where people are vulnerable due to age or, for example, need ongoing energy access to support the use of essential medical equipment. So I illustrate this point in the article by reference to the UK, where Ofgem, the energy regulator, recently intervened to stop energy suppliers involuntarily installing prepaid meters in the homes of certain vulnerable customers. And the key point I make is that they're a useful bill management tool, but they're not suitable for everyone, in particular old or medically vulnerable households at risk of self-disconnection. And ultimately, I think this is an area where the research and policy communities can work together with suppliers, with charities who support vulnerable people, to really build our understanding of this issue, which will both help people and enable us to make better policies.